everyone, this is Dells. It's tutorial time! So, expressions and emotions are very important when it comes to art. Comics especially. For those of you who don't know, I am mostly a comic artist. You can find my work on DeviantArt and Tapastic. When I first started comics, I was forced to draw things that I never drew in my free time. You know, usually you draw a cute character with a fun outfit, hairstyle. You don't usually draw the things you find challenging. But if the story leads you down that path, you need to deliver. So I had to learn how to draw new objects, animals, buildings, and expressions especially. As a visual media, I feel it's important to get across ideas without having to spell every little detail out for your reader. It's cleaner, it's prettier, and much more concise. Expressions are challenging, but it's always been one of those things I felt I was pretty decent at. You know, I doodle them when I'm bored. I think they're fun. I try to fit as many as I can into one page. So I thought that I could make a tutorial about them for people out there who may be just starting out and you're finding that you're drawing the same expression on your character all the time, and you want to mix it up a little bit. This is just my way of doing things, tips and tricks that I've learned along the way through my experiences as a self-taught artist. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on the eyes. First of all, I find that they're the most expressive feature, and they're pretty easy to tweak in a myriad of ways, and you can get so many different expressions out of just the eyes. Secondly, I think they're pretty fun. Everybody, I think, has gone through a phase where you're drawing eyes in the margin of your classwork on your notes. They're fun to draw, so I figured we should start with the eyes first. So let's start with a very simple eye. We're going to start in neutral. We're going to have the two lines that represent the lashes and a sort of oval circle shape to represent the iris. And then we have the eyebrow, which is just going to be a simple line. It's not really curving or twisting right now. It's in a resting, relaxed position. In neutral, people are awake, but they're calm, they're relaxed. It could also just be a generic blank stare. As you'll see shortly, the lashes, the two lines that represent lashes, also represent the boundary of flesh and muscle that surrounds the eye. So as you change the emotion you want to portray, you need to change the shape of those. They don't stay the same when you're smiling versus when you're crying versus when you're staring into space. So let's start with the happy expression. So I'm going to assume that when someone is happy, they're going to be smiling. And when people smile genuinely, everything seems to move upwards. You'll see how the eyebrow arches further upwards, that bottom lash line curves up a little bit, just to show how it's being pushed into place by the apples of the cheeks when you smile. The highlights are a little bit bigger compared to neutral. Personally, I think it gives it a shiny cuteness that shows this happy, excited energy. And I'm going to show you how to push this further, just one more step to make it even more extreme. You see how the eyes are almost closed, they're still moving upwards. Because they're so closed, you're only seeing half of the iris, so you're seeing the lower half of that oval shape. So this is kind of the eye shape, what that upside down U eye in anime would look like with a little bit more detail. You can kind of see how that shape is taking place as we reach the end of this really happy eye. Right, so in contrast to that happy expression where everything's lifting upwards, everything is curving upwards, in a sad expression, everything becomes heavy, everything droops down. The lids are about half closed, so again, you're only seeing the lower half of the iris. I draw more of the eyelid crease to emphasize the fact that this eye is closing. The top lid and bottom lid curve downwards to show more of that heaviness. The eyebrow curves upwards, opposite of the happy eye again. So I would say that would be concave relative to the eye. It's collapsing as opposed to being convex, bubbling upwards. So there's a bit more furrowing of the brow, which is the muscles between the eyebrows right above the nose. We'll see how this adds a bit of a pained quality to the sadness. As always, you can add a little teardrop in there to add more sadness. Pushing it further is really simple. All I'm going to do is have that lower lid squint up a little bit so that you have a squinted, straining feeling. It seems more distressed. So I've always found anger expressions to be a little bit more challenging to get just right, but what I found is that the eyes seem to have a very pinpoint focus on their target. The lines of the iris are sort of shaky and unsettling, and that pupil becomes just a dot. We see a very severe arch in the eyebrow, and you get little lines, little wrinkles where the muscle, the skin is being stressed from this extreme expression. The outline in the first expression for the eye is circular. It's a wide open eye, so the top lid goes up, the bottom lid goes down. Pushing it in another direction to give a different sort of anger. What I like to do is make the top lid and the bottom lid come closer together. This gives a squinting, glaring feeling. The eyebrow is pushed down. Everything is just scrunched in the middle of the face. It's a very scowly, angry look. It's definitely one of the trickier ones to get the hang of. Using these tips and different combinations can help you make all sorts of expressions, not just these 3 basic ones. I was really blown away by the options that were available to me when I figured out how to dissect an expression this way. So mix and match, experiment, and see what you can make, see what you can do with these foundations. So I was actually thinking about doing a couple other tutorials like this about emotions and expressions. I was thinking about looking at the mouth and body language, because I know you can fall into same old with those as well. So if you're interested drop a comment below. I do know I've been there. This is one of the trickier parts of art. So hopefully this tutorial helped clear a few things up. I hope you have fun testing it out. Let me know if it helped you. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.